adding polynomials do not require order. In other words, 2 plus 3 is the same as 3 plus 2. The same applies to multiplying polynomials because 2 times 3 is the same as 3 times 2. So order doesn't matter at all. And typically, when we multiply polynomials, for example, if we have multiply x plus 2 by x minus 3, we write it within parentheses, x plus 2 times x minus 3. So that is how we write it in terms of notation. So how would we go about multiplying this? So many of you might have, learned this as FOIL. If you want, you could do FOIL. Whatever approach that I'm going to mention is very similar to FOIL, but it is easier to understand, especially in a case where you have more than 2 terms. But when you have only 2 terms, in other words, a binomial and a binomial, you are welcome to use FOIL, which is first, outside, inside, last. So what we're doing when we're multiplying is merely distributing each term from the first polynomial into the second polynomial. So I'm going to give you a minute for you to multiply these two using FOIL. And once you're done, type it in the chat and I'll show you the other way of doing this. If we use FOIL, the answer would be x squared minus x minus 6. Now, how do we do that? Well, x times x, x squared. The outside part, which should be, x multiplied by minus 3 will have minus 3x. Inside part plus 2x. And the last would be 2 times minus 3, which would give us minus 6. And if we simplify, x squared minus 3x plus 2x is minus x minus 6, and that would give you that answer. And another way to think of this is this approach, which is more effective, especially if you have more than 2 terms to multiply. So how do we go about doing this? So that is our second polynomial. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to start with the first term and multiply the second polynomial. Put the sign that you have, which would be plus. Take the second term and multiply with the second polynomial. So all we are doing is simply distributing the x with the second polynomial, the 2 with the second polynomial, and we are putting the sign plus over there. Now the rest is just distributing stuff. So x times x, x squared, x times minus 3, minus 3x, plus 2 times x plus 2x, plus 2 times minus 3 is minus 6, which would give us x squared minus x minus 6. So we want to multiply 7a squared b squared with a b cubed. So the process is very similar to how we dealt with exponents. we're just going to group terms together. So I see a 7 by itself, so I'm going to put 7. Group the a terms, so I have a squared times a. The b terms, b squared times b cubed. 7. The bases are identical, so we add the powers, a raised 2 plus 1. Bases are identical, we add the powers, b raised 2 plus 3. So we would end up having 7, a cubed, b raised 5. Now we can get rid of the parentheses, so we would have 7, a cubed, b raised 5. So we have 6xy multiplied by ax squared plus bx plus c. So what we're going to do, since this is a monomial and that is a trinomial, we're just going to distribute the terms throughout. So we're going to multiply 6xy with ax squared. The plus sign, that's right in the middle, so plus 6xy times bx. Plus sign, that's right in the middle, 6xy times c. There is nothing in common in the last term, so I could write it as 6xyc. The first term, I have to group the x's together, so x times x squared. The other two terms are not identical, so I'm just going to put it as a times y. In the second term, I have 6 times x and bx. So since we have two x's, I'm going to write it as x times x and y times b, which is yb. So the first term, I would have 6 x times x squared, x raised 1 plus 2. Bases are identical, add the powers. Ay would remain as is. 6 x times x is x squared, yb plus 6xyc. So the final answer would be 6x cubed ay plus 6x squared by plus 6xyc. So we have the numbers first, so 4 times 2, then the a terms, a cubed times a squared, then the b times b raised 5 times b. So we will have 8 multiplied by a. Bases are identical, so we add the powers. 3 plus 2 is 5. B, bases are identical, so we add the powers. 5 plus 1 is 6. So the final answer is 8, a raised 5, b raised 6. Here we have xy squared multiplied by x squared plus y plus 1. So xy squared times x squared. We have a plus here, so plus xy squared times y. We have a plus xy squared times 1, which is just xy squared. So here I have x, bases are identical. We add the powers, 1 plus 2 is 3. and y squared would remain as is. There is only one x, and I'm going to leave that, and bases are identical for y. So I'm going to add the powers. 2 plus 1, I get 3, plus xy squared. So the final answer is x cubed y squared plus xy cubed plus xy squared.